Omo Namo Bhagavate Sarvatrilokya Prativishistaya Buddhayate Nama Tayata Om Brum Brum Shodaya Shodaya Vishodaya Vishod Asama Samanta Avaba Sparana Gati Kagana Swabhava Vishuddhe Abhishinjantu Mama Sarvatata Gata Sugat Varavachana Amrita Abhishekera Mahamudra Mandra Padye Ahara Aha Mama Ayo Sandarani Shodaya Shodaya Vishodaya Vishoda Kagana Swabhava Vishuddhe Ushnisha Vijaya Parishuddhi Sahasra Rasmis Tathagata Avalokini Paripurani Partishtite Sarva Tathagata Hridaya Adhishtana Adhishtite Om Muni Mahamuni Vimuni Vimuni Mahavimuni Mati Mati Mahamati Mamati Sumati Tatata Bhuta Koti Parishuddhe Visputa Buddhi Buddhi He He Jaya Jaya Vijaya Vijaya Smara Smara Spara Spara Sparaya Sparaya Sarva Buddha Adhishtana Adhishti Shuddhe Shuddhe Buddhe Buddhe Vajre Vajre Maha Vajre Su Vajre Vajragar Jaya Garbe Vijaya Garbe Jaya Vajra Jwala Garbe Vajro Bhave Vajra Sambhave Vajre Vajrini Vajram Bhavantu Mama Shariram Sarva Sattva Namcha Kaya Parishuddhir Bhavantu Me Sada Sarva Gati Parishuddhischa Sarva Tata Gatascha Mam Samazvasayantu Buddhaya Siddhaya Siddhaya Bodhaya Bodhaya Vibodaya Vibodaya Mochaya Mochaya Vimochaya Vimochaya Shodaya Shodaya Vishodaya Vishod Samantena Mochaya Mochaya Samanta Rasmi Parishuddhi Sarvatata Gata Hridaya Adhishtana Adhishtite Mudre Mudre Mahamud Mahamudra Mantra Padye Svoha Omo Brum Svoha Omo Amrita Ayurdate Svoha Omo Ahum Tramri Aamam Sarva Sattvamscha Raksha Raksha Kuru Svoha Om A Guru Buddha Ushnisha Vijaya Sarva Siddhihum Omo Amite Amito Bhave Amita Vikrante Amita Gatri Amita Gamini Amita Ayurdate Kagana Kirtikare Sarva Kleshakshayam Kareye Svoha Tumi Chive Tsema Tovana Teim Yameku Sewara Tongne Chida Pachumte Chime Rikzi Nyurdu Toparsho Jetsun Lame Kutse Raptenchi Namkaratin Le Chocho Negyurchi Nimo Dele Tsendele Nime Kuyan Delekshi Nyensen Taktu Delekpe Kuncho Sumgi Jingilon Kuncho Sumgi Ngodrup Sol Kuncho Sumgi Trashisho Locho Sampo Pagyo Trashi Pa Tuche Tembe Tinle Yarngoda Pege Drolor Zambe Zebarache Pande Lame Shabla Sowade Omo A Guru Vajradara Sumati Munisha Sanekar Uta Varda Nishriban Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradara Sumati Munisha Sanekar Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Hum. Om Guru Vajradhar Sumati Munisha Sanekar Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum. Pakyuke Kudan Dagi Lo Pakyuke Sondan Dagi Nga Pakyuke Tudan Dagi Ten Yerme Chiktu Jingi Lo Makyuke Kudan Dagi Lo Makyuke Sondan Dagi Nga Makyuke Tudan Dagi Ten Yerme Chiktu Jingi Lo. Sangye chedan soge chonam la chanchu bhardo dani kapsuchi dagi chinso gibe sonam gi drola penchira sangye druparsho sangye chedan soge chonam la chanchu bhardo dani kapsuchi dagi chinso gibe sonam gi Drola penchira sangye druparashu sangye chedan soge chonamla chancho pardo dani kyavsochi dagi cheshe gibe sonamgi penchira sangye druparashu. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge unto enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I like to start today with this verse which was said by Lama Tsongkhapa, in which he says, Dirjupani kelpa sangoshe lekpar somla gawe shingdang rabse zumbe nyamdan dembayi namye nyogi kyonsum pongla nyon. Be aware of how fortunate you are to enter here. Reflect clear upon it and fill completely yourself with a beautiful smile. You need to illuminate yourself with joy. Illuminate yourself with joy by reflecting clear upon how fortunate we are of entering here, of listening to the teachings, of entering into the Dharma. Illuminate yourself with great joy. Rab said, and with a beautiful state of light, of a smile, and with a beautiful smile, listening with attention, abandoning the unfit vessels or the recipients for teachings, which means, in other words, I'm not entering into detail on that right now, but which means please listen with attention. Please listen carefully, because we are, and with joy. Because it's so fortunate. I was just thinking today, after having made a long life puja dedicated for our Guru together here in this auspicious day of a full moon, and we are all gathered here together. The simple fact that we can actually reflect upon the correct view of reality, that we can reflect upon the true nature of phenomena and the root of suffering and how to eliminate the root of suffering, even if we're not able to fully realize it here now. The simple fact that we can reflect upon it and then we can talk about it and so on, it's already so amazing. So it gives me great joy. So remember, I like very much the beginning of this verse which says, reflect how fortunate you are, and by thinking about it, develop great joy and listen with a smile in your face. Illuminate yourself with a smile. So today we will most probably finish the 9th chapter, and because for that we need to start reading it, otherwise we won't finish it. And so I don't want to go into many introductions as I do often. We will go directly to the text, okay? In a way I'm very happy to conclude the 9th chapter, in a way I'm not so happy to conclude it, because I like it so much. But it means if we conclude now, it means we can start again another time. Okay? So let's go to it. Let's let Shantideva guide us. We are in verse 150. As we go to this last part, the conclusion, Shantideva has already explained us what is interdependence, what is the lack of inherent existence, what is the true nature of phenomena, and so on. And in these last 16 verses, Shantideva is actually showing us the path that we need to follow in the sense of, it's like an incentive, positive incentive for us to develop effort in order to realize emptiness, to realize the true nature of phenomena. Okay? So he says, Tedar tompe ngonamla töba chiyo, chor chiyo, kangi rimdro chebam, yongsu nyebam chishigyo, dewang dunga kang leyin, miega chiyo gar chiyo, teni tune tsalchena, kangshi sechin kang la se. Chena sömbe jikdendi, kangshi dirni chigurte, jungyur kanyin jungyur kang, nyendan shekyang kangshigin, tamche namka drawani, dagde yongsu sunwargi. Dani dewar dönamni, tabdan trowe gyudagi, rabtu trukdan gawarche, nyange bezo tsöbadan. Pensun tsödan bigbadan, dikdagini tsek chensos. Verse 151. With all phenomena devoid in that way, with all phenomena being empty of inherent existence in the way we have just seen, what is there that would have been received? What is there that would have been taken away? Who is there who will become shown respect or contempt, and by whom? The point here is, Shantideva is saying, okay, in the moment when we develop, for example, we receive something, or in the moment that someone makes a praise or says something nice to us, do we like it? Someone can say, oh, how beautiful you are, how intelligent, how smart, how humble, how whatever. Okay? And this person is making a very nice compliment that we like listening. You know, it's like a massage for the ego, no? So somehow we feel like, At that moment, the person that is saying the compliment to us, and the compliment itself, how does it appear to exist for us? In an interdependent way, depending on its parts and causes and conditions, and depending on the value that we are assigning to it? Or it simply is a nice compliment and it exists by itself? Okay? When someone comes and says something bad to us, how do we see it? It's there, solid. No other way. Okay? So the point is that whenever we gain something, whenever we go into contact with something, it can be something pleasurable or something non-pleasurable. We see it as appearing and as existing out of its own characteristics very solidly. And the emotions that come together with this, anger, jealousy, envy, fear, attachment, and so on, all these negative emotions, all these disturbing emotions, they are not able to sustain themselves if there is not the grasping at inherent existence. For example, let's say I am hungry. Then I walk in the room and suddenly I see a chocolate cake. I see the cake, I start to have water in my mouth. I start to say, oh, I must have this cake. Oh, I really like chocolate cake. Oh, it was really good. Oh, I almost feel like I'm almost having the smell of the cake, you know. And then we remember last time we had a cake like that and it was so good. So we go to the cake. And then when we get nearby the cake, we take a knife. And when we go with the knife, it's made of plastic. It's a plastic cake. Okay? At that moment, how did actually the cake appear to us? As being a real cake. Did we believe in it? Yes. But in the moment that we went to try to eat and we understand that it's a plastic cake, do we still have the same attraction and attachment towards it? No. Okay? Because we have understood that it appeared in a way different of what it is. All our negative emotions, such as anger, hatred, aversion, sadness, fear, attachment, insatisfaction, and so on, they need to have an object to relate with. And the way how these emotions relate to the object is just as if this object existed out of its own characteristics in a very solid way. Okay? So this is how we relate normally. So the text continues and says, actually, if we understand that they lack inherent existence, it's gone. What's the only difference that exists between an object of anger, an object of indifference, and an object of compassion? Same person, saying the same words, same situation, not changing. The only difference is the way how we relate. I can see it as an object of anger, as an object of indifference, or as an object of compassion. And all the three are right. Because the basis of imputation can fulfill the function and characteristics of all the three. The point is, what's the result that I want for myself and for others? Okay? So, when we actually really look at this, and we start analyzing the objects of our own emotions, the emotions don't have anymore a solid basis where to rely on to. And it says, where is there from which, what is there from which there is pleasure or pain? What is there from which there is pleasure or pain? What is there to be disliked or liked? What craving is there that is searching for an actual findable nature? And what is it for that there is craving? Basically, what is there from which there is pleasure or pain? When we have pleasure, when we have pain, when we like or we dislike something, we see that object as being solid, intrinsically existing. In the moment that we understand that it doesn't exist out of its own characteristics, but we deeply understand it, these emotions don't have anymore a solid basis where to rely upon to sustain itself. Okay? And then we have the freedom to direct our mind in the way we can relate, in the way how we wish the most. In the way that we see that is more beneficial. It doesn't mean we cannot have emotions or feelings. It's not that. But we have a real freedom. It's like, in the moment I am attached to the cake, but I see it's plastic, and it was just the value that I assigned to it, the attachment is gone. In the moment that we have our objects of attraction and objects of aversion and so on so strong within ourselves, the moment of attachment and aversion, we see the object as if it existed out of its own characteristics in a very, very solid way. If we understand that it's not like that, it fades away. It doesn't have any more solid basis where to stand. Okay? Upon discerning analysis, what world of living being is there? Who is possibly there that will die from here? Who is there that will come to exist? And who is there that has existed? Who is there that is a relative? Who is there that is a friend? And who is there whose friend is it? And who is there whose friends it is? Those of my type understand, please, that all of them are like space. But those wishing for happiness, for a self, for an intrinsically existing self, get agitated and overexcited. Get agitated when things don't go in the way we expect. Get overexcited when things go in the way we expect. We get agitated and sad and so on when things are not in the way how we want. And we get overexcited when things are in the way how we want. Through fights and festivities as the cause, and then through the resulting of distress and overexertion, disheartening disputes and knifing and stabbing each other, they pass their lives with tremendous difficulties, though through their negative acts. And despite coming and going to the better rebirth states and experiencing, okay, this is the next part. So the point here is also when it says, upon discerning analysis, what world of living beings is out there. Because normally, when we see other sentient beings, when we see other people, how do we relate to these people? As if they existed out of its own characteristics. And what happened basically is that we divide people into three groups. Those that do benefit from me, that are my friends. Those that are harming myself, that are my enemies. And those that don't harm or benefit me, that are indifferent. Then, to all these three categories, we relate in three different ways. Those that have something better than me, I have envy. Those that are same as me, I am competitiveness. I compete with them. I have envy towards those that have more. I compete with those that are in the same level. And I am arrogant towards those that have less. That's the normal way of being. In the moment that we see everything as existing out of its own characteristics. A friend is a friend. Until when a friend is a friend? Until the friend is treating us in the way how we expect him to do. If the person is nice to us and is doing things that we like and so on, we say, oh, how much I like you, I love you, I wish you the best, and so on. You are my friend of my heart. Then in the moment that that person is doing something that we feel that is harming us, what happens? We may even still put in the category friend. Because we may think, oh, I give my friendship forever. But what emotion do we have? Attraction or aversion? Aversion. It becomes an enemy. Why? Because did something that I didn't like. But if we really look, when we have a friend, how solid does it seem to us? We say, this is a friend. We have no doubts about it. When it's an enemy, we say, this is an enemy. It has done this to me, that to me. We see it very solid, both ways. But how easy is for one to change into the other? Why is it so easy? Because we make too many problems in our mind. Because, for example, if a person has done many things nice to me and one day do something that I don't like, or I think this person did something that I didn't like. Because here is a whole another subject. What the other person actually does and what we believe that the other person has done and so on is a whole different subject. But the point is that in the moment that one thing is done differently of what I expected and I didn't like it, not friend anymore. So what happened? Friendships have expiry date, the good things that the person did to me. Why? Today you do something good, this will erase everything. Today you do something bad, this will erase everything good that I have done. Or today I do something bad and will erase the other part also. Vice versa. No. But in the moment that we see everything as existing so solidly, we are not able to overcome it so easily. Because for us it appears as being really solid there. You are my enemy. You are my friend. Until things don't change. But in the moment that I see it like this, it becomes so solid. And what happens when we see things in this solid way? We generate attraction, we generate aversion, we generate sadness, hatred, and so many other things. And finally, where are we really suffering from if we look? We are not suffering based on what the other person told us or on what the other person did and so on. Because the action of the other person or the action ends very quickly. We are suffering out of our fear and our jealousy and our envy and so on. And all these negative emotions, they are based on the grasping at inherent existence. Their own object they see as being of inherent existence. Okay? So one of the ways of eliminating this is really realizing the interdependence of all phenomena. And this is something so important for us. Because as Shantideva is saying here, the most crazy thing about all of this is that what we all want simply is to be happy. But even though we want to be happy, it's like if we make a competition, who can suffer more? And we are trying to win this competition. As we said a few days ago, if we look at this world from the point of view of nature, of matter. Does nature give enough for all of us to eat and to be happy? Yes. Is this world a paradise or a hell in the sense? Nature gives us everything, it could be a paradise, but why do we make it a hell? Attachment, aversion, hatred, ignorance, basically. Okay? Lama Rinpoche told many times, I remember 2 times very clearly. One time I had just come back from Tibet, and I was very happy to be here in Albagnano. And then Rinpoche said, oh yes, Albagnano is a real true paradise, if you know how to live it as such. Otherwise it can become hell, like everywhere else. We have everything. What is missing here for us? Really? Nothing. We have everything to be happy. Oh, I would want this, I would want that. No, what you're missing in this case is satisfaction. But if we really look, what do we miss? Nothing. But we still suffer, we still create problems, we still have conflicts. And sometimes we create conflicts between people, and we understand that we were wrong, and still we are not able to change because we are so arrogant, so proud. We say, no, I cannot show to myself that I was wrong. I cannot show to the other one that I was wrong. Even if we choose to change our mind, still we are so attached to our own image. It is difficult to let it go. And what's the conclusion? We suffer. So basically, the fact is that out of the ignorance of grasping at phenomena as being of inherent existence, we develop selfishness. From that we develop anger, jealousy, pride. And all of this, why? Because we want to be happy. It's quite absurd. But if we look, why is there so much violence in this world? Because everyone wants to be happy, but doesn't know how. That's basically the reason. So, what do we need to do? As Shantideva is saying here, no? Please listen to me, like saying, those of my type, understand, please, that all of them are like space. All phenomena, the object of attraction, the object of aversion, the one that is harming, the one that is benefiting us, and everything, all of them are like space. Space is an example for emptiness. Everything is empty of inherent existence. Nothing is so solid as it may seem to you. So please understand it. Because without understanding it, even though you want to be happy, what's going to happen? You are just going to suffer more and more and more and more. Okay? So I think it's quite clear, no? The way that Shantideva is putting. And this is here is the first part of this chapter, this part of the chapter is saying actually, look, it's so important for us to realize emptiness, to realize the interdependence of all phenomena. Otherwise, we are going to continue to suffer. Because we are going to continue to relate to everything based on attraction, on aversion, and seeing everything so solidly. We will be continue to fight and to kill each other, if it's verbally or mentally or physically, in many other ways. And the most absurd of all is that we do all of this that generates so much suffering, basically because we want to be happy. Okay? So let's do the right thing. Let's learn how to relate to existence in a coherent way for what existence actually is, for what reality actually is. That's why we need to realize the interdependence of everything. Okay. Dani dewar dönamni tabdan trove gyodagi rabtu trukdan gawarche nyange betso tsöbadang pensun tsödang bigpadang dikda gini tsekchen so dedor yangdan yang wongtes dewa mangbo chechene shine nge son dungani yuri mise namsu tung siba nani yangsa mang terni teni mingdi dra teryang pensung gawe na sina teni didrame teryang peme mise pe dunge gyatso tale des terni tedar top chungshings terni tseyang tunganis Teriang Sundan Nemegi, Chedan, Tredan Alwadang, Nidan Sedan Teshintu, Chidan Trokpa Tömegi, Seni Töme Nyurdais, Namchu Shindu Nyekawa. And here Shantideva is really saying to us, don't lose time. Practice Dharma. Meditate on the lack of inherent existence. This is the main point that Shantideva is bringing to us right now here. As he says, verse 156. And despite coming to better rebirth states and experiencing manifold pleasures, they fall after death to the worst rebirth states and unbearable suffering for a very long time. Although we may have very good states of rebirth, many times, at a certain point, there is some negative condition, something happens, a negative karma is ripened, and we go to a negative state of suffering. So the fact that now I am fine is not an excuse. Even if we think only of this life. Now we are good, we have many good conditions, but how many are the possibilities that at a certain moment we get sick? We are in a situation of suffering, of violence, of material difficulties, economical difficulties, and so on. So it's not obvious. We shouldn't take it for granted. And at the same time, very often I see people and we may think, does actually hell exist or not? And many people say, no, hell doesn't exist. I thought like this for some time. After observing a little bit better, after reflecting, after seeing some things, I really believe that hell actually does exist. We don't need to go far away. How many situations are there in this world that are really like hell? There are situations of deep, strong suffering, constant suffering. Too many. And as Shantideva himself said in the text before, hell is a state of mind. There is possibilities. There are places that are like hell. There are experiences that are like hell. But there is also inner states of mind of hell. There are some mind sicknesses where people are constantly entering into this negative cycle of suffering and simply cannot get out. There is this example, I always give it, because for me it was very touching, very clear, of one girl. She was in her chemistry class, and an accident happened, and she got burned, the whole body was burned. So she went to the hospital, and she stayed in coma for around 10 days in coma. And when she woke up from the coma, she was very afraid. And she told after that her experience during these 10 days of coma was of constantly being raped and being burned. Being raped and being burned. Being raped and being burned. Countless numbers of time. Where was her body during that time? In the hospital. Was anyone harming her? No. But has she experienced that suffering or not? Yes. So if this is not hell, where is it? Even in the descriptions of hell by Buddhist teachings, there is one hell which is called the recurring, I think in English we say. The recurring hell is a hell where the same situation of great suffering repeats itself again and again and again and again and again, countless numbers of times. This is a very clear example of this. So, it's possible to be reborn in a state of suffering. It's like if we close our eyes, we fall asleep, and suddenly we are awakened in the worst nightmare, and we cannot get away of that nightmare for a long time. It's possible. And even more, sometimes we have this idea that when we die, okay, I have done positive things and negative things in my life, so I have the positive at one side, the negative at the other, and there will be a sort of a judgment in the moment of my death. And if I did more positive things, I will have a good rebirth. If I did more negative things, I will have a bad rebirth. And there is a sort of a judge, and I am somehow friend of the judge, so everything will go fine. In Brazil, they did a survey, I remember now. They asked people if they believed or not in life after death. And most of them said yes, in a continuity after death. And they asked, do you believe you're going to go to hell or heaven? 93% of the people said they're going to go to heaven. Or because they didn't do bad things enough, or because they did a lot of bad things, but they already paid with a lot of suffering in that life itself. Even when asking to the people that were like worse murderers and people that really did created a lot of suffering in other people, most of them said, oh, but I already paid enough, and God is my friend. And now when many of us, what we think, oh, I am the friend of the Lama. Everything will be fine with me. Nothing can happen to me. I am protected. I have the protector. I have this. I have that. No, you have your karma. I have all the rest also, but we have our karma. It's like when Shariputra, which was one of the disciples of Buddha that is depicted on his sites, he died after a severe beating that he received. He went to a place where people didn't like Buddhists. And then when he was there, they catched him and they beat him up so bad. Not Shariputra, sorry, Monganaliputra. I confused. Monganaliputra. They beat him up so badly. But Monganaliputra, he had abilities of creating illusions and like flying, and he could disappear. He could do all this type of things. So when he arrived in the place of the monastery with his friends, and he was all broken. And then when they saw him so badly, they asked, oh, what happened to you? Oh, I was beaten up. And they asked, oh, but why you didn't disappear? Why you didn't fly? Why you didn't do some magic or something like that? He said, when your karma catches you, there is no way how to escape from it. That's the answer he gave. We can be the friend of Buddha. We can have the magical powers. When our karma catches us, nowhere to escape. So, the point here that Shantideva is bringing us is basically saying, look, do not let the life just go by thinking, oh, now I am in a good situation. This good situation may not last forever. Okay? And he continues saying, in compulsive existence in samsara, cliffs to fall from are planting. And there are many ways that we may fall into negative actions in samsara. It's very easy to fall into negative action. There are many cliffs through which we can fall down. And there it is like this, when actuality is not known. Which means there are many ways, many negative pathways that we can fall on, and very difficult we can find a way how to really understand reality in the right way. Very rare, no? And there it's like this, when actuality is not known. When we don't know the true nature of phenomena, we're going to fall on different cliffs, on different negative ways of actions and negative ways of things, and so on. But since this is what is there, in fact, contradict one another. In compulsive existence, it's not like this when actuality is known. Which means, what contradict each other? The mind that realizes the lack of inherent existence and ignorance contradict each other. And in the moment that actually we are able to realize the true nature of phenomena, then we stop falling in cliffs. Then we can actually start walking in the right pathway. No? Let me just check the Tibetan a second. Sibanani yang samang terni teni mingdidras teriang pensung gawena sina teni dindrame teriang peme misepe dunge gyatso tale des. Also, when we say here that, but since this is what is there, in fact, contradict each other, in compulsive existence is not like this, when actuality is known. One of the meanings also is that in the moment that we have maybe the possibility, like we have these days, to reflect upon the true meaning of reality, the lack of inherent existence, interdependence. And every time, like what I said some days ago, the simple fact of doubting inherent existence is like giving a punch in the face of ignorance. Every time that we reflect upon interdependence, that we think about the lack of inherent existence, that we really put our mind into understanding the true nature of phenomena, we are contradicting ignorance, going against it. But all the time that we stop doing it and we follow fully ignorance, we are contradicting wisdom. We are familiarizing our mind with one or with the other. Okay? So it's not enough just, okay, once I have reflected upon it. It's not enough. We need to do it again and again. There too, there are incomparable, violent oceans of suffering beyond any end. There, like that, there is little strength. There as well, there is little lifespan. Okay? This is already starting another part, which is up to the half of 58. It's saying, we may be in a good moment right now, but we may fall into bad rebirth at any moment. Be it inside this life or outside. How many possibilities are in this life that suddenly something happens and we are not anymore with all these positive conditions we have right now? It's so rare to have the conditions we have. It's not because it's rare that it's necessarily positive, no? It's rare and it's good because if we just think in this world, not even think about the whole of samsara and so on, what do we need in order to realize emptiness? First thing, we need to have space in our mind. If we don't have anything to eat, if we don't have anything to drink, if we are living constantly under violence, if we are staying in a state of where we have totally fear, and so on, do we have space in our mind to reflect upon something meaningful? No. And there are way too many people in this world that live in this state. Really, really, really. Then, if we are totally slaves of the objects of desire, such as money, pleasures, of power, and so on, do we have space in our mind to reflect upon something more deep? If we simply live to survive, do we have any space in our mind left? No. And there are so many people in this way. So in the moment that we are here, it means some space we have. Okay? Physically speaking, materially speaking, mentally speaking, we have space in order to reflect upon more deep things. But then there are many people that do have some space, but they have no one to guide them. They have no idea where to start from. No idea where to start from. And so many are guided in the wrong way. I'm not talking about everybody needs to be Buddhist. Huh? How many people are there that they want somehow to follow something spiritual, but they are guided in the wrong way? That finally use spiritual methods for mundane reasons? How many? So, to have the conditions we do have right now here, it's something extremely, extremely rare. And we must use it, because we can lose it at any moment. Really. So, Shantideva continues saying, there, which means talking to us, like that, there is little strength. Even though we are at this life right now, but we don't have that much strength. You know? Sometimes we are tired, and we don't have all the effort necessary. There as well, there is little lifespan. Our life goes fast. Human life ends quickly. There means in our human life where we are right now. How fast does life go? Too fast. And not only that, Shantideva continues. There as well, with activities for longevity and health, with hunger and exhaustion, with sleep and calamities, and likewise, with fruitless company and infantile people, A lifetime passes quickly and in vain. Yet analytical discernment is so difficult to gain. So there as well, where is there a means for turning back chronic distraction? So what it's saying to us is basically that please do not let your life go away with distractions. Many often we just let the life go by. Through what? Oh, this person said this, that person said that, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to buy this new, I need to get that other one, this is old, they don't like the color of this anymore, this is like this is clean, that is dirty, here like this, and 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 one day what happened? We die. And can we get again this opportunity that we have right now? I don't know. So what Shantideva is telling us is like, please, don't let this opportunity be lost. Okay, and he was saying this already 1,500 years ago. It's not a problem of our modern age. Please do not live your life just to survive. That's what Shantideva is telling us. Don't let your life go away just by trying to gain pleasures here and avoiding suffering there. Who cares if you're having pleasures of suffering? The important thing is if you are developing wisdom or not. If you are eliminating your anger, your jealousy, your pride. If you are developing more love and compassion towards others. That's the main point. Because otherwise, momentarily, we can have many momentary things. And the other point also is that when we talk about being guided in a wrong way, how many negative influences we receive every day? The society that we live, what's the message that the society is constantly giving to us? Believe in material utopia. Believe in the material utopia. If you are forever young, handsome, attractive, rich, and powerful, you will be happy. And we believe. At least we follow. So, we have a lot of influence every day in our life, all the time, every day. So, really, we need to put effort because, yet, analytical discernment is so difficult to gain. It's so difficult to stop and reflect about emptiness and do this because our space is all taken by stupid things. So what Shantideva is saying here is, please stop. Don't let your life go waste by nothing. We have a body, we need to take care of this body. We have a life, we need to take care of this life. But by the end of the day, when we get by the end of our life, who cares about what I did? The important is what I have become and what I will bring with me. It doesn't matter if I solved this problem, if I did this or if I did that, if I was famous or not famous, how many pleasures I had and so on. The important thing is really what I become within. Did I manage to have less ignorance? Did I manage in this life to make myself more stable, to develop more love and compassion and wisdom and so on, or not? That's what really matters finally by the end of the day. So Shantideva is saying, please, come on, wake up, guys. Do not stay in this sleep of ignorance where we are totally distracted by useless things. Things that start and end in itself, It's like if we are in this cycle, this merry-go-round. We go there. Then we go around, then we look at how beautiful, how nice, and then something nice, something not nice. And then when we see we are in the same place. Stop. What is there more important in life, really speaking? What is there more important in life than eliminating the root of suffering? Nothing. Yet, we think about it once, who knows how long. One of our tantric commitments is to reflect upon emptiness at least once a day. There is another commitment from Mother Tantra to do things with our left hand, to remember emptiness, to remember wisdom. So really, we need to apply it to our life. We need to bring it to our life. That's what Shantideva is asking us to do here. No? And he says, there as well, demoniac force is working hard to bring about a fall to the most awful rebirth states. There, because there is a profusion of false path, indecisively waving is so indecisively wavering is so hard to transcend. We have many demoniac forces. We are not talking about bad spirits here. We are talking about the demons of our own attachments and our own anger and so on. There is the demon, normally there are 4 types of demons, but anyhow, it's basically our own mental defilements, our own karma. We are always guided. And what is the tendency that is always bringing to us and all the influences that we receive every day? It's not that of eliminating ignorance. The information that we receive constantly is actually saying, okay, things exist as you see it. More aversion to those that you don't like. More attraction to those that you like. The solution is not in you. You have no power at all. That's what we are receiving constantly. And with the difficulty of gaining a respite again, and the advent of a Buddha even more difficult to gain, when we talk about, and with the difficulty of gaining a respite, means gaining a life with the positive conditions that we have, and with the difficulties of gaining a life with the conditions that we have right now again, and the advent of a Buddha even more difficult to gain, and the rapids of disturbing emotions so difficult to get out of, alas, suffering will just go on and on. Oh dear, it's really fit to feel sad about those who are caught in a rapids of suffering and who fail to see their own terrible situations, although they are in extremely terrible states. This is referring, he's saying, oh dear, it's really fit to feel sad about those who are caught in rapids of suffering, which are those that are really suffering in a very, manifested way, and those who are, and also who fail to see their own terrible situation, who looks like now I am okay, but I am deeply in the side of the jail of samsara. No? Although they are in extremely terrible states. For example, just as some people, abluting, would jump into fire again and again, and though it's extremely terrible states, proudly consider themselves in extremely wonderful situations. This is talking about some religions that existed at the time in India. But it's people that do things that they are actually in a state of suffering, but they think that actually they are doing good for themselves. But this is, we see every day in our life. Okay? How many people are there, for example, like really slaves of pleasures, thinking they are doing something good and they feel so special, but they are really slaves of their own pleasures and living in deep state of suffering? Too many. So, likewise, there are those who frolic about, fooling around, as if there weren't old age and death. But first, they will be made to lose their lives, and then comes the unbearable fall of a worse rebirth state. Oh, when shall I come to bring peace to those tortured by the fires of suffering like that, with a rain of my built-up happiness pouring forth from the clouds of my positive force? Oh, when shall I respectfully build up a network of positive force in a matter of no mental aim at impossible existence, and then teach voidness to those who have been ruined by such a mental sin, but by such a mental aim? So what actually Shantideva is finally bringing here to us is saying the true reason why we need to realize emptiness is because we want to help others. Because when we compare our suffering to the suffering of others, our suffering is nothing. And when we really look at other sentient beings, and when we really look at samsara, when we really look at existence, how much suffering there is, how much violence there is, how much ignorance. And all of this is happening out of what? Out of ignorance. So, as very clear, he says, oh, when shall I come to bring peace to those tortured by the fires of suffering like that? With a rain of my built-up happenings, which means with a rain of the merits that I have built up, when can I pour this rain to the others and help them to get out of suffering? And how can I do that? Oh, when shall I respectfully build up a network of positive force in a matter of no mental aim at impossible existence, and then teach voidness to those who have been ruined by such mental aim? When can I, it's like a wish, may I, as soon as possible, be able to guide every sentient being out of the cycle of suffering by showing them the true nature of phenomena. And because of that, I have no time to waste. Because I may even think to myself, oh, I am okay. I have a nice life. I have a good job. I get well paid. I go for vacations. I have nice friends. I have the Lama that thinks about me. Okay. If you don't think about really yourself so deeply, but what about others? When we see the suffering around us, the only way we can really help others is to help them to help themselves. There is no other way. I can give food, I can give money, I can be nice, but this will just give some relief momentarily. The only way to get really out of suffering is by realizing emptiness, is by experiencing and relating to reality in a coherent way for what reality actually is. There is no other way. So here Shantideva is saying the true reason why we must realize emptiness and why we cannot waste our time is because there is too much suffering in the world. And in order to help others, we must develop ourselves. So we cannot waste our time in useless, idle talking, in just trying to survive, and so many other things. We must really put into practice every day in our life what we know, the level that we have reached. I'm not saying to everyone here, okay, every day 10 hours of meditation, single-pointed meditation of samatha and vipassana on emptiness. We're not able to do it. But can we at least take 5 minutes a day to try to reflect how something is interdependent? We can. And one other thing that I said in Italian, I forgot to say in English. Life goes past fast. Very fast. And we get lost in so many things. One day, one of my teachers, Geshe Thupten Rinchen, he's really, for me, one of the persons that's the best examples of practice and knowledge and conduct and so on. Really, he passed his life basically studying the Dharma, teaching the Dharma, and practicing. Okay? When I was in the monastery, he was the teacher of most of the lamas and monks, and he would do maybe 10 hours of teachings every day. And then the rest of the time he would be doing his practices, basically. Then one day he said, okay, I want to go for a retreat. So he went for a retreat in a mountain, in a little hut, where it was a hut where normally they would put in apples. It was in the middle of an apple plantation in the north of India. And then, as he was there, his attendant, which was one of my best friends in the monastery, Losaninje, he was there with him, and then he told me after when he came back that for, I think, the first 3 months, if I'm not wrong, now came some doubt, but it doesn't make much difference. The first 3 weeks or 3 months, actually. The meaning is the same. For quite a long period, he would come out of every session of meditation in the morning with his eyes completely wet and red. And his attendant was wondering why, what was happening. And what happened is that he didn't ask ever. He didn't dare to ask, because you do not ask your guru any intimate question. Never. Actually, traditionally, you don't even talk about any intimate aspect of your guru. It doesn't matter what aspect it may be. You simply don't even talk about it. It's not that I am relating with. And who am I to judge? That's how I grew up in the monastery, okay? So he would never ask his guru, why were you crying? Why were you crying? What happened? Did I do something wrong? Is the food I'm doing not good enough? No? We have this tendency that if something happens wrong, we always think it's ourselves to blame, no? So after 3 months, or after the time that it was that he stopped crying, one day he gathered the courage to ask. He asked, Gela, please, what have happened? And then he told, for this period, I was crying. I couldn't keep myself from crying. Because I understood how much time I have wasted of my life, thinking that I was practicing Dharma, but actually not. To practice Dharma is not just to recite, is not just to read, is not just to reflect. We need to look in our own eyes. We need to have the courage to see our ignorance, to see our defilements, and to really do something to take it out. It's not easy. It's not pleasurable very often. But that's the path. So when he realized it, when he said, I saw how long, and he said, and now I am old. Now that I see what is really practicing the Dharma, I am old. That was his point. So what I want to say is that we need really to put the best of our efforts since this very right moment, according to our own abilities, according to what we are able to do. But there is one thing we need to do, to be sincere with ourselves. Not to play games with ourselves. It's very easy to find thousands of excuses why I'm a good person, everything is okay here and there. You know, one day we will die. And there we are in front with our own karma. It's not, I am friend of the Lama, everything will be fine, I have my protector, I have this, I have that. When I die, my guru will take care of me, I don't need to worry about anything. Sure, we have the guru, we have the protector, we have our good actions. But most of all, we'll be in front of our own, we'll be in front of the conditions when we create and our own karma. You know? And so we really need to practice Dharma sincerely, because by the end of the day, what really matters is what we have become. And when we look at others, there is so much suffering. Something like, not only in those that are externally suffering with pain and hunger and so on. Look around, you know. It's possible we can even see suffering in those that are smiling. In the moment that they live within ignorance. So, really, there is no other way than realizing emptiness, that realizing wisdom to help others. And we cannot waste our time. Once we have this precious, incredible, beautiful, joyful opportunity. So with great joy, we must use this opportunity in the best ways as we can, and not just let it pass by. Okay? Is it easy? No. But the result, it may be easy just to let our life pass by, but the result is not easy. So really, what Shantideva is bringing here to us as a conclusion of the 9th chapter is saying, the reason why we need to realize the true nature of phenomena is to help others. And that's the real way to do it. And we have no time to waste. So please, do not waste your life. That's what Shantideva is telling us. Please do not waste your life with useless thoughts, useless words, useless actions. Whenever this comes to us, don't give space to it. And remember, every day to bring ourselves back to our practice, which means to look at our ignorance, look at our faults, look at not our faults in the sense of feeling guilty. No need to have any guilt. We need compassion towards ourselves. But at the same time, we need to be quite hard on our own shadows, on our own defilements. And we need to be humble in order to change. Okay? So, really, what Shantideva is saying, practice the Dharma, if not for yourself, for those that are around you. Because that's the real way for you to help them. Okay? So, in this way, Shantideva concludes the 9th chapter, saying to us, practice the Dharma in your daily life. Saying to us, practice the Dharma in every word you say, every thought you have, every action, every choice you make. Because life goes by. And this opportunity we have is so, so, so precious. Not only for you, but also for others. It's like if we think about Rinpoche, how many people can Rinpoche benefit? Those that we can see and those that we cannot see. So many. So if we have the wish, may I be like him, would that be a selfish wish? No. Why do we need to develop wisdom? Because we want to help others. And the conclusion is the best thing that we can do. What's the most important thing we can do in our life? What's the main priority beyond all priorities? Eliminate the root of suffering. That's the true priority. Once we know it. So let's put our energy in that direction. Okay? So to conclude today, I would like just to reach the 10th chapter, which are the dedications. Okay? Quindi per concludere, senza fare un commento, volevo solamente leggere il 10° capitolo del Bodhisattva Charyavatara, che è il capitolo delle dediche. Okay? C'è un verso che è rimasto. Chisi jetsun tamba manyepa, chisi jetsun tamba manyepa, tesi sibetsawa che lam, tenchung tadan chalwe umani, choksam shikyang tokpar magyurto. Dala lekpar sheba chinyechik, yoba tegun lame tinyempe, Gewa di dagi manam kun tekchu shedan trebar gyur chik. Okay, these words here are the words that were written by the main disciple of Lama Tsongkhapa, Gyatso Rinpoche, that wrote the commentary. And by the end of every chapter, he makes the conclusion. And all the other chapters, I have read this conclusion for you also, so we will do for this one also, okay? So he says, Jisi jetsun tamba manyepa, Tesi sibetsawa che lam, tenchung tadan chalwe umani, choksam shikyan tokpar magyuro. Until the moment that you do not meet a correct master, a correct spiritual guide, until that moment, it will not be possible for you to meet the path that cuts away the root of suffering. Tenchung tadan chalwe umani, until that moment, it would be not possible to find the path that is the path of interdependence and the path that eliminates the extremes of eternalism and nihilism. You will not be able even to find one small part of this path until in the moment that you do not find the correct guide that shows you the path to enlightenment. As long as you don't meet him. So, dala lekpar sheba chinye chik, so all that I was able to explain here, this is all thanks to the great kindness of my Guru. And may by the merits that I have here accumulated, may all mother sentient beings never be separated from the correct Mahayana Guru. Quindi alla fine, there's still something more, but alla fine di questo capitolo c'è un verso che viene scritto da Gyatso Rinpoche, perché c'è il commentario del Bodhisattva Charyavatara, scritto da Gyatso Marinci, che erano dei principali discepoli di Lama Tsongkhapa, quelli rappresentato con i capelli un po' più bianchi, un po' anziano, che si trova alla destra di Lama Tsongkhapa, e lui che scrisse il commentario del Bodhisattva Charyavatara, che si segue principalmente nella tradizione Gelugpa, seguendo gli insegnamenti di Lama Tsongkhapa. E lui alla fine di ogni capitolo mette una conclusione. E quindi qua lui dice: finché non si trova il venerabile e puro maestro che ci guida nel sentiero verso l'illuminazione, fin quel momento non si troverà il sentiero dell'interdipendenza e dell'eliminazione dei due estremi, dell'eternalismo e del nihilismo, che taglia la radice del samsara. Fin quel momento non si troverà neanche, non si potrà capire neanche una piccola parte di questo. Quello che io ho potuto spiegare qui, quindi dice lui del commentario, è tutto questo è grazie alla generosità del mio guru. Possa tramite i meriti che ho qui accumulato e possa tramite tutti i miei meriti ogni essere senziente madre essere inseparabile e trovare ed essere inseparabile dal guru Mahayana, il guru che guida nel sentiero Mahayana. Tadral umatini matok par pakcho khopan repar minupe tongpa tendre tuntu tacho ne sulshin bebe drubar tsumbar cha. Without realizing this only vision of Madhyamika that goes beyond extremes, it's not possible to realize the state of arhathood, to get out of samsara. For that reason, emptiness and interdependence. For that reasons, analyze, concentrate, meditate, and put effort in order to realize emptiness and interdependence. Quindi dice, senza la realizzazione di questo sentiero Madhyamika che va al di là degli estremi dell'eternalismo e del nichilismo, non si può raggiungere lo stato di un arhat, non si può toccare lo stato di un arhat, che vuol dire che non si può uscire dal samsara. Per questa ragione metta un grande sforzo per riflettere, comprendere, meditare la vacuità e l'interdipendenza. Kelpa chewa gyarya nyekawa ludrub luksan deni mawatak shingdi ringpo mito nupgyurpe namcho denam nyurtu tsundru kes. Shingdi ringpur mitok nupgyurwe namcho denam nyurtu tsundru ke. Even in hundreds of eons, is difficult to find. Even if looking for hundreds of eons, it's difficult to find an explanation of the two truths, relative and absolute truth, such as that was given by Nagarjuna. Shingdi rimpo mitok nupgyurwe namcho denam nyurtu tsundruke. For those of you who are not for a long time here in this land, which means in this opportunity of having access to these teachings, use all your abilities to quickly develop effort and to realize emptiness. Janju semba chobala jubale shervge parotu jimbeliu te gubao. From the Bodhisattva Charyavatara guiding under the lifestyle of a Bodhisattva, this is the 9th chapter on realizing wisdom. Dagi janju chobala jukbar number tsambai gewa kangde drowa kun janju chola jukbar sho. Chona kuna ludan sem dunga nuga neba chinepa deda dagi sonamgi dega gyazo tobar sho. Deda korwa chisi tu namyan dela nyama gyur drowe janju sembai dewe gyumi chebar sho. Jikten kyamna nyawa da kanda jisi yoba nam teda tuni luchen nam dechen dewe gawar sho. Tangwe nyamta trotop shos janju tangwe nyamta trotop shos. Janju sempe tinchen les jungwe chubo ta yeki sawe nyamta silver sho. Ratri lome naksa yang tela gatsal tukur shos. Shalma li domboyang spasam shindu trumbarshos. Tingring ngurpa takdang ngampadang sheso kyenin jimpa Zegyurchik, Peme Trison Chenden Tsodagi, Nyawe Sacho Dani Nyamgarsho. To the end of their recurring samsara, may their happiness never become old and decrepit. Instead, may those who wander obtain without interruption the Bodhisattva's unsurpassed bliss. Whatever joyless realm beings, as many as there are, throughout the realms of the world, may those beings with limited bodies all enjoy the joy and bliss of a pure land of bliss. May those tortured by cold find warmth, and those tortured by heat be cooled by the boundless ocean of waters pouring down from the billowing clouds of bodhisattvas. May the sword-leaved forest become for them a beautiful pleasure grove, and may the diabolical trees of thorns transform into wish-granting trees. May the joyless regions become delights with lakes fragrant from lake-born lotuses thickly rising up, and made enchanting with bewitching cries of cranes, wild ducks, geese, swans, and the like. May those molds of glowing caracals become molds of gems, and may the flaming ground a polished mosaic floor of crystal. May the mountains of the crushing joyless realms become celestial temples for offering filled with Buddhas gone to bliss. May the missiles of glowing charcoals and burning rocks from this day on become rain of flowers, and may bombarding battle with those missiles one against the other, from this day on become tossing battle with flowers. From this day on becoming tossing battle with flowers for frolic's sake. May those sunk in the uncrossable infernal river with waters like fire, and their flesh fallen off skeletons jasmine in color, gain the bodies of celestials by the force of my constructive deeds and bask in the gently flowing heavenly river in the company of celestial maidens. Wondering, why are the terrifying hatchments of the Lord of Death, crows, and the vultures here suddenly scared, and those in the soothing moon-like force that is eclipsing in the darkness everywhere and giving rise to our happiness and joy? Gazing upward and having beheld the shining Vajrapani poised in the expanse of the sky, from the strength of the light, their dark karmic forces dispelled. May they depart in his company together with him. Seeing the joyless realm fires fizzle and fade out from a failing rain of water lilies, mixed with scented water, and wondering, what can this be? Suddenly, revealed with joy, may these joyless realm beings behold Kamalapani, water lily in his hand. Friends, shed your fears and come here quickly. We are brought back to life. Who's come before us is the radiant youth of the 5 knots of hair, Manjushri, the bestower of fearlessness, by whose power all suffering is removed. Rushing streams of joy flow forth, and bodhicitta is born, as in loving affections the mother nurturing those who wander everywhere. All of you, behold him whose lotus feet are touched in honor by the crowned foreheads of hundreds of celestial beings, whose gaze is moist with compassion, and on whose head rains a shower of assorted flower. Tossed from the rooftop chambers, delightful with singing of thousands of celestial maidens, resounding his praise. Sing Manjushri before them like that. May the joyless realm beings instantly raise a cheer. Thus, beholding through a constructive acts as the roots, unobscured clouds of bodhisattvas, Samantabhadra and the rest, showering cool fragrant rains of joy, may those joyless realms beings rejoice. May the intense pains and fears of the joyless realms beings be stilled, and may everyone living in the worst rebirth states be free from the worst rebirth states. May animals be parted from the fear of being devoured by each other, and may the clutching ghosts become as happy as the people of the northern island world. May the clutching ghosts be satisfied, battered, and cooled forever by streams of milk pouring from the hand of Arya Avalokiteshvara. May the blind see sights, and forever may the deaf hear sounds. May the pregnant give birth without any pain, as did Shakyamuni's mother, Maya Devi. May the naked find clothing, the hungry food, and the thirsty water, and delicious things to drink. May the poor find wealth, those stricken by grief find joy, and may all discouraged become uplifted and perfectly steadfast. May as many limited beings as are sick be swiftly set free from sickness, and may the sickness of wandering beings without exception never occur. May those with fear become fearless, those in bondage be released, those lacking strength become strong, and their hearts become friendly towards each other. May every direction be auspicious for all travelers, and whatever aims they are going for be accomplished without any need for effort. May those who set out on boats and ships successfully succeed in fulfilling their heart's desires, and safely returning to the water's shore rejoice with their families. May those who have stayed on to desolate detours meet fellow travelers, and without fear or thieves, bandits, tigers, and the like, journeyed at ease without fatigue. May those fallen asleep become drunk or deranged, in danger, in trackless tracks, such as jungles and the like, as well as the young and elderly without any guardian, be protected by the gods. May they be free from all states that lack respite, be endowed by belief in the facts, discriminating awareness, and affectionate care. Have a splendid sustenance, appearance, and demeanor, and always be mindful of previous lives. May everyone be have inexhaustible wealth, with a treasury of space, and without dispute and without violence, using according to their personal wills. May those limited beings who have little splendor come to have magnificent splendor, and may those in difficult straits with disregarded bodies have to come to have splendid, beautiful bodies. This is the only verse that is little contradiction. It needs some explanation. As many women as there are in the world, may they attain the status of men. Basically, this is because at the time when this was written, okay, and in the culture where it was, what happened is that women were not respected. So what really is saying here is, may all women be respected in the same way as men. May there be no difference, and may they be no disregarded in this sense, okay? And may the lowly attain high position, and the arrogant become humble. By this positive force of mind, may all limited beings, without an exception, rid themselves of all negative acts and always engage in what is constructive. May they never be parted from a bodhicitta aim, and may they be absorbed in bodhisattva's behavior. And may they be taken care by the Buddhas. May they be taken care of by the Buddhas, and be rid of Mara's demoniac acts. May all limited beings have immeasurably long lives. May they always live happily, without the word death being ever known. May all directions abound with pleasure groves of wishing-granting trees, replete replete with Buddhas and Buddha's spiritual offspring, proclaiming the melodious Dharma. May the ground everywhere lie as smooth as the palm of the hand, free from pebbles and the like, gentle and may be of burial. This is the word. This is tamche dunisashi da semala some pada latitanya bendore ranshi champone gyurchik. This is the same verse. As the cycle of disciples, may hosts of bodhisattvas be seated all around, gracing the surface of the earth with their personal splendor. May all embodied beings unceasingly hear the melodious Dharma from birds, from trees, from all beams of light, and even from the sky. May we see the Dharma in everything that we see every moment. May they always encounter the Buddhas and the Buddha's spiritual offerings, the Bodhisattvas, and make offerings to the spiritual teachers of the world with clouds of offerings without any end. May the gods cause timely rains to fall, and may there be bountiful harvests. May kings rule in accord with the Dharma, and the people in the world thrive well. May medicines be potent, and the chanting of hidden mantras be successful. May Dakini witches, cannibal demons, and the likes be endowed with compassionate minds. May no limited beings ever have pain, no act with negative force, nor be sick, nor be frightened, nor be derided, nor ever be depressed. May the monastics be well established. May the monasteries be well established, spread with reading and recitation. May the monastic community be always in harmony, and the monastic purpose be fulfilled. May monks who wish to train their minds find isolated places, and being rid of all distractions, absorb themselves in meditation, their mind fit for the task. May nuns have material support and be rid from conflict and harm, and likewise may all renunciates have unbroken ethical discipline. May those with poor ethical discipline be disgusted, devote themselves always to cleansing themselves from their negative karmic force, and once they have reached a better rebirth state, may their vows, tamed behavior remain unbroken. May the learned be shown respect and receive alms of material support. May their mental continuum be completely pure and their fame renowned in all directions. Without experiencing the suffering of the worst rebirth states and without conduct that is difficult to carry out, may wandering beings swiftly attain Buddhahood with bodies superior to those of the gods. May all limited beings honor all the Buddhas numerous times and in numerous ways, and may they always be happy to the highest degree with the inconceivable bliss of the Buddhas. May the Bodhisattva's heart wishes to be able to benefit the world be fulfilled, and may whatever those guardians have intended indeed come to pass for limited beings. May the self-realized Pratyeka Buddhas be happy, and likewise the Shravaka listeners, always being honored with respect by gods, anti-gods, and by men. And may I too, through the kindness of Manjughosha, always gain mindfulness of previous lives and ordination as a renunciate, till attaining the realized Bodhisattva first stage of mind, the joyful one. May I live filled with strength on a simple diet of food, even just grain. May I obtain isolated places to live in, filled with perfection in all my lives. Whenever I might wish to see or I might wish to ask about a little thing, may I behold the guardian, Manjunatha himself, without any impediment. Just as Manjushri works to fulfill the aims of all limited beings to the far reaches of space in the 10 directions, may my behavior become just like that. For as long as space remains, and for as long as wandering beings remain, may I too remain for that long, dispelling the suffering of wandering beings. Whatever suffering wandering beings might have, may all of them ripen on me, and through the Bodhisattva assembly, may wandering beings enjoy happiness. May the teachings, the sole medicine for the suffering of wandering beings, and the source of all happiness, continue to endure for a very long time, with material support and shows of respect. I prostrate to Manjughosha, through whose kindness my thought has become constructive. I prostrate as well to my spiritual teacher and friend, through whose kindness I have been able to have it expand. Sobu Tia Rinchen Pumbogyo Surinchen Pumbogyo Sase Shegi Sashi Tawarashu Dugon Riwo Namgi Chebayi Sheme Kangyura Deshe Kanwarashu Dama Dese Tsunge Charbada Tene Sonde Medo Charbar Gyuru Pensun Tsunge Deba Teyani Tenge Tengne Tsechir Medo Pembrashu Chuora Me Medan Chuo Rame Medon Ranan Chimada Kunsha Shingyo Rugon Medo Kunde Do Kange Gewe Topge Laye Ludob Nel Hamon Namdan Linche Dagi Pamne Sho Chichirdine Shinje Midan Kadan Chago Mise Namdra Te Kune Munse Dega Kibe Tusan Dego Suye Tunyam Te Gendo Tena Namge Kina Chana Dorje Bashu Ton Barwar Shukton Rapto Gawe Shugi Digdan Talne Tedan Lenche Dropper Shok Medo Charba Puchu Dandre Baba Ye Nyawe Medan Chilche Samba Tongyurne Lombro Dewe Simba Diche o Simba Diche Samba Dan Semnya Namge Chana Pema Tomara Shok Droda Jigpa Powo Rimbar Sursho Ubu Teduni Kange Tuye Dunga Kundra Gawe Shukjin La Drowa Kune Yongya Janjo Semba Tsea o Janjo Semba Tsewa Ke Gyurba Shunu Surbu Chembara Jigba Mebara Cheba Sushik Ching Kyoge Lage Chuben Dagi Shabgi Pemo La Jochin Tukje Lenje Umo Ula Medo Tume Tsogi Charbaba Kanse Yuon Lamo Tondra Te Yan Troden Diwa o Didu Te Jamyan Te Dra Tone Tani Simnyam Chacho Tumbra Sho Dedardagi Geza Kundo Sanlaso Janjo Semba Driba Meba Tinga Tindewa Janjo Semba Driba Medrin Dewadang Sishin Tishin and then Charba Bebdone Simje Nyawa Tedang Number Gajing or Gagurchi Tudon Namni Chila Nye Sawe Jigdan Trawarsho Trami Nyembe Mission to Yidan Namni Dewarasho Papa Chere Ziwangi Chani Babe Wegyun Shin Yidan Namgi Timche Shin Truche Taktu Tsiwarasho Lowan Namni Sukton Shin Wembe Taktu Dradone Hamo Gyudru Chishin to Druban Me Tsawarasho Chirbo Namge Kwedadan Treba Namge Sedanye Komba Namge Chudadan Tungwa Shimbo Tobrasho Demba Namge Nordo Nyange Nyamta Gadomne Yiche Namkya Yisoshi Temba Punson Sobrasho Simche Neba Chinye Pa Nyurdu Nele Targyuch Drowe Nena Malu Pa Tatu Jungwa Mebrasho Traba Namni Jingmesho Chingwa Namni Trawara Tume Namni Tudenshi Simche Pensu Ningyuruchi Trombo Tanye Tamche La Chunan Tamche Deura Sho Kange Tundu Troje Pa Tine O Tebe Migu Drupgyuruchi Trudan Trujen Shuba Nam Yila Samba Drupgyurute Chuye Ngombra Derchine Nyenda Lenche Gaura Sho Nyange Lamcho Nyange Lamgo Kyamba Nam Tromba Dadan Chegyurne Chumgun Taso Jingme La Jime Bara Minge De La Tomra Sho Gonso Lame Nyanga War Chimba O Chiba Kimbo Gome Pa Nilo Nyun Shin Rabchone Lhada Sun Wara Chebra Sho Mida kunle tarbadan tedan sherab tsera tedan sherab tserdenshin sedan choba punso la tado tserab tsera dringyurche tamche namka zoshin tu longcho tseba mebrashu tseba me chen tseme par rawan tuni chobrashu semchen sije chungo kan teda sije chembrashu kato chenga sungye pa sungsang punson tsogyuro chi jikden pume chinye pa deda keba nigyuro chi mara namnye todo chi ngagya dagi chumbra sho dagi son nam diye ni simchen tamche malu pa dikpa tamche pawani tado gewa chebra sho jancho semda mitral shi jancho chola sholwa tang sangye namge yongson shi dugi le nam pongwara sho simchen neda tamche ni tseyang pame ringwara sho tado dewara tsogyuro shi chiwa drayan trama gyur pasam shinge kemyo tsa sangye dani sangye se chunyen dropa kawa chunam tamche kamra sho tamche dunye sashe da sema laso meba da lakde tanyam bendori ranshe jambo ne gyuro chi korge kingor kunge kingo yogur yang chancho semba mambo da range lekpe saden da gembra zeba kyu gyuro chi Luchen kunge chada nye she shingda we ser tamche da namga lekyang choge dra gyumi chebara tobra sho deda sana deda deda tatu ta sangye dan sangye sedan che gyuru chi chebe tini taye pa drowe lama chebra sho Hayang tusu charbebshin lodo pinsun tsobra sho gyalpo chushin che gyuru chi jikden dagyan tawara sho menan tudan denpa da sanga decho drupa da kandro simbo la sopa ninche simda den gyuru chi simchen kayan duma gyur dikpa ma gyur na ma gyur jikdan nyeba mi gyuru shin kayan yimi de wara gyur yimi de ma gyur Tsula kana lopa dan kandun gege lekne sho taktu gendun tumba dan gendun tunyan drupra sho Laba döbe gelon da emba dagyan tobra sho emba tamche pangne ni simni lerong gom gyuruchi gelon manam nyeden shin tobda nöba pongwara sho teshin rabdu chungwa kun tsurin nyamba me gyuruchi tsurin chawa yijungne taktu dikpa che seche sho dendro dagyan top gyurne teryan tu sho minyam sho Keba namge kurwa dan sonyom dagyan nyebra sho kuyo gyuye yonso taba dan chonam kundu traba dan eson dunga minyon shin gawa cheba mebra sho hawe lakpe ludo ne teda sangye nyurtob sho simche kunge lema to sangye tamche chebra so samge dewa samye ye takdu dedan dengyur she jancho sembe Chancho semba namge ni drodon tula gombo odunro tula gondro sho gombo yini kangomba simche nam lan terjo sho teshin ransan genamda nyendo namgyan de gyurchi dakyan jamya kadringe sara sarab gawa tobra sho Tado tserab jemba dan rabdo chungwa tobra sho Dani kase gine kyan nyamdan den shin tsobra sho Tsera kundu wene pa punso den pa tobra sho Kange kanse tawara doban chunse triwara dona ya gombo jamya kenye gi gengme payan tongwara sho Chocho namke tedo pe simchen kundu druber shi jidara jamya chozo pe dagi choba tenra sho Jise namka neba dan drowa jise negyur chin jise dagi negyur ne drowe dunga sewara sho Drongwe dunga kancharun tegun dala mingyur chi Chancho sembe gendungi drowa dela chobra sho Drowe dunga minche po dewa tamche chungwe ne Tempa nye dan kurte dan chete yuri negyur chi kange tinge gelo chung Chambe yang la chatse lo kange tinge dadarwa gewe shelan da chatse Chancho sempa chobala chobale ngowa she jawe liu te chuba o Chancho sempe chobala chobe lebun shanta deve zeba zo so Jetsun lame kutse rabten chi Namkar trile cholchur gepada Losan tempe dreme sasumgi drove muse tatu ne gyurci. Chancho semcho rinpoche, ma che panam che gyurci. Che pa nyam par me pa yang, kong ne konto pelwarsh. May the precious mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, which has not yet born, arise and grow, which has born, have no decline and increase forevermore. Yanda tawa rinpoche, ma ke panam ke gyurchi, ke pa nyam par me pa yang, kong ne konto pelwarsh. May the precious correct view of reality, which has not yet born, arise, which has born, have no decline and increase forevermore. Gewa di nyurdo da lama sangye drupgyurne, drowa chikyang malupa, te sala kuparasho, gewa kunto yanda lama da, drame cheki pela longche ching, sadan lamge yente rabzone, dorje change kopa nyurto vishon. Nimo dele tsendele, nime kuyan dele kshin, nin tsentaktu delekpe, chosum ke jingilo, concho sum ki ngodrup sol, concho sum ki trashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. All'alba o al tramonto, di notte o durante il giorno, possano i tre gioielli concederci le loro benedizioni, possano aiutarci ad e cospargere il sentiero della nostra vita con molti segni di buon auspicio. De sol a sol, à noite ou ao meio-dia, possam as três joias conceder-nos suas bênçãos, possam as três joias ajudar-nos a alcançar todas as realizações, possam as três joias espalhar muitos sinais auspiciosos no caminho de nossas vidas. Al amanecer o al anochecer, por la noche o durante el día, puedan las tres joyas concedernos sus bendiciones, puedan ayudarnos a obtener todas las realizaciones y colmen el sendero de nuestras vidas con muchos signos de buenos auspicios. Puis les trois joyeux nous dispenser toutes les réalisations, puis les trois joyeux remplissent notre vie de signes et de bon augure. We dedicate our merits to the long life of our gurus, to the long life of the teachings, to the long life of the teachings also inside ourselves, so we may realize it, and we recite for one time the mantra of Namgyalma, dedicated for the long life of our gurus and the teachings. Omo Namo Bhagavate Sarva Trilokya Prativishistaya Buddhayate Nama Tayata Om Brum 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 Shodaya Shodaya Vishodaya Vishodaya Asama Samanta Avabas Parana Gati Kagana Swabhava Vishuddhe Abhishinjantu Mam Sarvatata Gata Sugata Varavachana Amrita Abhishekera Mahamudra Mantra Pade Ahara Ahara Mama Ayo Sandarani Shodaya Shodaya Vishodaya Vishodaya Kagana Swabhava Vishuddhe Ushnisha Vijaya Parishuddhi Sahasra Rasmi Sanchodite Sarvatata Gata Avalokini Shat Paramita Paripurani Sarvatata Gata Mate Dasha Bhumi Pratishtit Sarvatata Gata Hridaya Adhishtana Adhishtite Mudre Mudre Mahamud Vajrakai Samantana Parishuddhe Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhe Prati Nivartaya Mama Ayur Vishuddhe Sarva Tata Gata Samaya Adhishtana Adi Muni Muni Mahamuni Vi Muni Vi Muni Mahavi Muni Mati Mati Mahamat Mamati Sumati Tatata Bhuta Koti Parishuddhe Visputa Buddhishuddhe He He Jaya Jaya Vijaya Vijaya Smara Smara Spara Spara Sparaya Sparaya Sarva Buddha Adhishtana Adhishtite Shuddhe Shuddhe Buddhe Buddhe Vajre Vajre Maha Vajre Su Vajre Vajra Garbha Jaya Garbha Vijaya Garbe Vajra Jwala Garbe Vajro Bhave Vajra Sambhave Vajre Vajrini Vajram Bhavantu Mama Shariram Sarva Sattvanam Cha Kaya Parishuddhir Bhavantu Me Sada Sarva Gati Parishuddhischa Sarva Tata Gatascha Mam Samas Vasayantu Buddhaya Buddhaya Siddhaya Siddhaya Bodhaya, Bodhaya, Vibodhaya, Vibodhaya, Mochaya, Mochaya, Vimochaya, Vimochaya, Shodaya, Shodaya, Vishodaya, Mochaya, Mochaya, Samanta, Rasmi Parish, Sarva Tata Gata Hridaya, Adhishtana, Adhishtite, Mudre, Mudre, Maham, Mahamudra Mantra Padye Svoha Omo Brum Svoha Om Amrita Ayurdate Svoha Om Ahum Tramre Am Amam Sarva Sattvamscha Raksha Raksha Kuru Svoha Om A Guru Buddha Ushnisha Vijaya Sarva Siddhihum Omo Amite, Amito Bhawe, Amita Vikrante, Amita Gatri, Amita Kamini, Amita Ayurdate, Kagana Kirtikare, Sarva Kleshakshaya, Kariye Svoha. Tumi Chive Tsema Tongana, Te Mela Nampragyalmeko, Sewa Tongne Chida Pachumte, Chime Rikzi Nyurdu Toparasho. Jetsun Lame Kutse Rabtenchi, Nam Kartinle Chochur Gepada, Losan Tempe Drume Sasumgi, Drove Munse Tatu Negyurchi. Omahun Demba Lame Sangye Rinpoche, Kyoba Lame Tamcho Rinpoche, Dremba Lame Gendu Rinpoche, Kyamne Kuncho Sumla Chopabu, Locho Sampo Pagyu Trashipa, Tuche Tempe Tinle Yarmoda, Pege Drolo Zambe Zebrach, Panden Lame Shela Chopabu.